Are you ready to learn the top tools that you should use when working with a virtual assistant? If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai, and I run a virtual assistant agency here in the Philippines, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, when it comes to working with your virtual assistant, tools is one of the ways that you guys can share things, can communicate, can go back and forth with, because you aren't going to be in the same office. You're going to be miles away depending on where you hired from. And for us at 2XU, most of our clients are from Australia, from the UK, from the US, all over the world, and we've basically helped them really make sure that they are set up to be able to have virtual assistants in their business. So for all of the links that I will be mentioned for the tools on this video, it's going to be linked down below. They are affiliate links, so I will get a little bit if you guys do sign up, which of course helps support this channel. Now for the first tool, and literally when we're onboarding our clients, this is one of the first things that we set up, is a project and task manager. Now for a project and task manager, this is one of the ways that basically you can be in sync when it comes to working with your virtual assistant. Again, despite the time zones, despite the miles. So what this is, it tracks what projects you guys are currently working on and the tasks attached to it. So then even if you guys aren't, again, in the same office, you know what's getting done in your business. And then for your assistant, they have the clarity on what are the next steps for them. What basically is the next thing based on the agreed upon like project and tasks that you guys have put as a priority. Now for me and my assistant, we use Notion a lot. Just go to lianlai.com/Notion to sign up. Basically, it's totally free, at least the way that I've been using it for my own personal use. I have a more work one where we do pay it with the 2XU Notion where it's shared with everyone else, but between me and my assistant, we're just using, until now, just a free version, just because it's a way for me to see, again, all the projects, where it's at. It has a little cute like completion bar, and then also the tasks that are attached to it. It's also a quick way for me to be able to add tasks. I use the method basically from the book Getting Things Done, where I need to have a bucket where I can just brain dump and then be able to sort it very easily for me, from tasks to projects to things that are just notes for myself. So that is kind of what we use in Notion. Two other tools that I do recommend that I've used also before is Trello and Asana. Again, the function of the three is kind of almost the same, where they're able to give you one place where you can see where the project is at, and again, the tasks that are attached to it. So you don't have to always be communicating with your assistant. Both of you basically can see what one is working on, what's getting done, so there's not a lot of that overlap. Another tool that you need is a good communication tool. Again, you guys are working on different time zones. You might not always catch each other, so having a really good communication tool is essential. Now, the first one on my list as a tool that I recommend is not purely a communication tool. It's basically a screen recording tool. You can use either Loom or Vidyard. So the reason why you want a really good screen recording tool is that it becomes your method of being able to document processes in your business that later on your assistant can turn into a standard operating procedure. So for me, I just use Vidyard. What I usually actually do as a little bit of a hack for you guys is I would use Vidyard for recording. Again, I could use it for giving instructions on a new task. I could use it for documenting processes and how I'm doing things. And then what I would do is actually I would download or upload that video right onto YouTube, where then almost anyone can view it later on. So that's kind of the method that I use for it. Of course, other communication tools for you to use are the usual ones, using WhatsApp, Slack, Google Chat if you're already using the Google Workspace. So of course, the purpose of this is for your assistant to know what space or what medium you prefer to communicate in. So then even if you guys are on like opposite sides of the time zone, you guys have a way to just give updates, communicate, and then to ask questions or support or resources from you. The next is a really good password management tool. So I really recommend right off the bat when you hire an assistant that they already have this, because then it's a good way for them to save their passwords, not forget them, and also a good way for you to share passwords. Now, two tools that I have liked using is OnePass and Bitwarden. These tools, OnePass specifically can share passwords. For Bitwarden, you do have to pay for it. But for me, like, it's just a good way for me to be able to find passwords as I need them without having to memorize, especially with the bajillion apps and tools that you need logins for. Next is a good time tracker tool. So a time tracker tool is essentially just a way for you to know how many hours your assistant has worked so far. You can use just Google Sheets, honestly, to make it super simple and easy. Your assistant just logs how many hours they work for that day. Or you can use tools like Hubstaff, which is what I use in my company, or Time Doctor, which is a more free version. So again, depending on where you're at with your business, it's a good way for you to check if it's taking screenshots, check what your assistant is working on or doing. It's also a good way for your assistant to not have to always keep track of the time that they're working on, because they can just use the tool to turn it on and off when they're working. Next is you need, of course, a place to have your document storage or a way to share files. So of course there is Google Drive if you're already on the workspace, there's OneDrive, and of course there's Dropbox. So these are different tools that we have used. I don't really have a recommendation because they kind of function the same way. I just use Google Drive myself into XU, depending again on what tools you naturally are using in your business at the moment. Next is, of course, having a really good scheduling tool helps when it comes to having your assistant schedule the meetings for you, or giving them the ability basically to manage your whole calendar. So of course, there's Google Calendar, there is, if you're using Outlook, they have their own calendar. Of course, there's an Apple Calendar, depending on what, again, works for you and your business, making sure that your assistant has access to it so then they can easily just navigate through your calendar and your schedule. And of course, there's tools like Calendly, which is what I use, of giving it out as a link to people to be able to schedule. Saves your assistant the headache of having to go back and forth with people, like scheduling between time zones, so on and so forth. Now, the last two types of tools that I have on my list are more if you are someone who's a content creator or creating content for your business. And speaking of content creation, the two tools that I recommend is ChatGPT and Canva. Now, ChatGPT, I have done so many videos on my channel. You guys can see and watch different ways you can use it for content creation, but I use it for brainstorming for ideas, creating a first draft of scripts, basically. I also use it to create my whole content calendar. Again, I have a whole training on my videos on my YouTube channel that you guys can just check out. And of course, Canva is a really good tool when it comes to graphics, because even if you don't have a lot of experience on creating graphics, let's say you hire your assistant mainly on admin, but you want them to start creating some content, they do have a ton of amazing templates that your assistant can just access and use for themselves. And of course, lastly, if they are handling your social media, making sure that they have good social media scheduling tools. Now, if you are not doing a lot of social media work for them, it's only 2 to 3 posts on Facebook, 2 posts on LinkedIn, they can just natively post on those platforms. You just need to give them access through Facebook pages or your LinkedIn business. But if they're doing more than that, so for example, into XU, we're posting about 20 pieces of content every single week, which is crazy. So we use a tool called Buffer. So our marketing assistant just has one place where she can upload everything. And there's also a tool called Hootsuite, which a lot of our clients also use. So again, depending on your needs, I recommend just making your assistant's lives just a little bit easier. Now, as a final point, I do believe that tools are a multiplier. If you're someone who knows how to do that work, basically it needs to get done before the tool, it'll just be a multiplier. An example that I love using is if you already know how to do copywriting, ChatGPT will just superpower that. And there's so many examples like that. So if you are having your assistant learn all of these tools, setting up in your business, it is helpful to have a little bit of background. So, and giving them, of course, the training and the resources so they can succeed. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below, what tools do you use in your business? I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. And make sure to check out those 2 playlists right here and the latest video right here. And I hope you guys have an amazing day and that small steps matters. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.